Although I attended a good school and later a university studying economics, none of these institutions provided an understanding of personal finance and personal money management. Unfortunately, the right way to handle money is not taught at schools and universities. This is true even for business schools and economic study programs. Young adults go into this world not versed in this area at all. Yet being able to manage your finances is essential in the long run.
I got a $100 check from my grandma, and my dad said I need to put it in the bank so it can grow over the years.
Well, that's fantastic. A really smart decision, young man. We can put that check in a money market mutual fund. Then we'll reinvest the earnings into foreign currency accounts with compounding interest, and it's gone.
This video is for people looking to become financial literate. For people looking to escape the debt trap and start saving. Through sound personal financial decisions, anyone can live prosperous and maybe even achieve financial freedom. This is not a theoretical video filled with textbook knowledge. The 16 tips are real-world oriented and based on experience. First, you need to acknowledge and accept that you are the only one responsible for your financial success and also failure. Oh my god, I sound like one of these gurus.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here. It's fun to drive up here in the Hollywood Hills. But you know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? Knowledge.
Still, this is a fundamental principle that many people refuse to accept. Many people think that they are a victim of bad circumstances, bad luck, and people taking advantage of them. However, most of them got themselves into financial trouble. Often you hear expressions like, I didn't knew about the extra fees, my car payments are killing me, or they screwed me over with the expensive mortgage. Whose responsibility is it to make sensible financial decisions though? Realizing that you have to take responsibility for your financial decisions is the first step to success in money matters. I will now present to you some helpful principles to gain control over your finances. First, live below your means. This guiding principle is one of the most important maxims, perhaps even the most important one. Wait until you can afford to buy something. If you continuously buy things you can't afford, you will end up in a downward spiral which will go on and on until you go bankrupt. If you live below your means, you will always have money left to invest. Over the years, your savings will grow and ultimately you will find yourself in a very comfortable situation with significant financial security. Remember, living below your means doesn't mean to live frugally or badly. It means living smartly. A lot of people go wrong about this. This is especially true for many US Americans who always want to have everything right now. This often goes on until the debt suffocates them and they can no longer sleep at night. Who then really lives better ultimately? The next two principles will help you save more effectively without sacrificing anything. Second, save and or invest huge parts of your salary increases. You lived on your old salary until you got the raise. Now you can find a healthy compromise between achieving your financial goals and living better. By, for example, using 50% of the additional money to live better and 50% to get into a better financial situation. What do most people do? They get behind at the start already by spending more than they make. These dudes constantly are trying to catch up. If you don't fall behind at the beginning, this principle is easy to execute. This idea will put you significantly ahead in the long run. If you do this every time you get a raise, you will find yourself saving a significant amount, investing in your future. You managed to live on the lower salary before, so it shouldn't be difficult to save 50% or even more of the wage increase. Nothing is lost in terms of quality of life. On the contrary, the portion that you don't save end up in your pocket to spend. Third, save 80% or more of every bonus. As bonuses are non-planned income, it should be easy to save a large portion. Only take a little bite of it and treat yourself by buying something you really want but not necessarily need. Use your other unexpected income also to get ahead financially. Don't get into the wrong habit treating unexpected gains like inheritances and tax refunds as found money, which people tend to waste. The last two principles show that you can still enjoy life short term, while you can also plan and work towards your long-term financial goals. Fourth, have an emergency fund. The rationale behind it is that something will go wrong unexpectedly all the time. Better be prepared and have the funds to deal with the matter. You shouldn't have to go into debt if something goes wrong. Examples are that your car might break down or that you have to make a big repair on your house. Medical or veterinary emergencies are other common instances where an emergency fund can help prevent you from having to take on expensive credit card or other consumer debt. Fifth, I preach this all the time. Invest yourself and don't delegate the task to someone else. Financial advisors don't do better than the average Joe. Factoring in the fees as well, you actually are doomed to underperform on average due to the higher costs. Usually YouTubers tell you to contact a financial advisor before you make an investment decision. I think that it's best to make your own informed decisions. Nobody can manage your finances better than yourself. No conflict of interest, and also only you know perfectly about your own preferences. It is actually not even that hard. Everybody can invest in a low-cost, diversified ETF portfolio. This way of investing, so-called passive investing, will not only lead to an outperformance of yours compared to most other retail investors, it's also more time efficient. I have not made this up. On the contrary, what I have just said are results of scientific studies that have shown time and time again that even the so-called professionals cannot beat the market. I made videos about this already. I will link them in the description. Also, don't trust me, go out and inform yourself. There are countless other competent finance influencers who will advise you to do the same. An example would be my favorite financial YouTuber, Ben Felix. He, by the way, is a certified financial advisor. This brings us to the sixth principle. Make a commitment to learn about personal finance. Don't just assume you are not capable. Everyone can get financial literate. It's not even that hard. Just don't make the mistake of falling for any foolish clowns or fraudsters and fake gurus who promise that you can get rich quick.
Let me explain again. Phil has recruited me and another guy. Now we are getting 3 people each. The more people that get involved, the more people who are investing, the more money we're all going to make. It's not a pyramid scheme. It's not even a scheme per se. It's
Be connect! Be connect!
As a rule, the process is slow and unspectacular and does not require taking excessive risk or buying expensive courses. Most of the knowledge is available for free or at small cost, for example, the price of a book. The next few tips are about consumption. 7th, don't try to keep up with the neighbors or colleagues or whatever peer group you got. People want others to believe that they can afford more than their salary allows. Our philosophy should be, who cares about the Jones next door and their new Porsche? Don't feel the urge to follow them. If they can afford it, good for them. In all likelihood, they can't. It's okay that there are people who live better than you. Don't be jealous of them. There will always be others who can't afford to live as well as you are, though their purchases might make you think otherwise. Your goal should be to steadily increase your financial well-being. Don't be concerned where you stand in relation to others. 8th, always compare prices. This obviously doesn't mean to go from shop to shop. Nowadays, you can save time, gas and money by using the internet. This principle is especially important for bigger, more expensive purchases and expenses. If your house needs a roof repair, get several offers, don't just take the first one. Get at least 3 estimates and play them against each other. Time spent this way will save you thousands in your lifespan. 9th, Haggle. Do not assume that prices are fixed. Negotiate, if possible, especially on expensive items. Negotiating is stressful, that's why most people just accept prices as fixed. Haggling can save you thousands of dollars in a lifetime. In order to secure the best deals, make sure that you know all the facts. This means you need to inform yourself. Use the internet to find the best offers. Never have to have something. Don't fall in love with an item. Be willing to compromise or not buy or at least delay a purchase. Keep in mind, prices are almost always negotiable. If you are not afraid to haggle, you will get better prices and terms. 10th, know your country's tax system. However, knowledge alone is not enough. Use all legal tax saving opportunities and make sure that you optimize your tax burden. If your country has a very difficult tax system and/or you don't think you can do it on your own, it often makes sense to hire an expert. His costs often pay off double and triple. 11. Use cash as often as possible. Pay as little as possible digitally or by card because it's much easier to overspend when you just hand over the card when you have to give away your hard-earned cash. 12. Only apply for the essential and legally required insurances. Insurance is a very profitable business. The insurance companies make tons of money on average on everybody's premiums. Therefore, you should only insure risks that have the potential to completely ruin you upon occurrence or what are required by law. Insurances which I deem necessary and which are also mandatory in many countries are health insurance and car insurance. Don't take useless insurances to cover smallest risks like a cell phone policy. You should be able to cover such unforeseen costs out of your emergency fund. 13th, check your utility bills, subscriptions, contracts, and insurances regularly. Are you still on the cheapest insurance? Do you need this or that service? Is there a cheaper electricity or gas provider? If there is potential for savings, don't be afraid to switch or renegotiate with the current provider. 14th, keep track of your spending and cost. Keep book about your household expenses for at least a few months. It often turns out that you spend a lot on unnecessary things and that there is potential for savings without really sacrificing much or anything at all. The next point is delicate, but unfortunately must be named. 15th, do not marry or marry only with a marriage contract. Especially if one partner earns significantly more, it makes sense to insure yourself in case of an eventuality. After all, almost 50% of marriages are divorced, and this can be very costly. 16th, only have children if you can afford them. I know, controversial point again, but keep in mind that children cost hundreds of thousands of dollars by the time they reach the age of majority. The college costs are not even considered yet. Surely I have forgotten one or the other principle. Tell me in the comments. Share the video with someone who might also benefit. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Watch this video next to learn which influencers to trust and which ones to avoid.